Welcome to Kids on Trucks. I'm Chris. This is Waylon. We're working on a 1978 Toyota Land Cruiser, and today we're troubleshooting the cooling system. In order to complete today's task, you're going to need a few things. We've got a power source, a grinder, flathead screwdriver, and a knife. If you watched episode 5, you would know that the thermostat in this Land Cruiser checked out okay. So we're going to move on to the next step in troubleshooting the cooling system. Originally, the coolant went through the water pump into the engine, out of the engine to the heater, out of the heater back to the radiator, from the radiator back to the engine. The way we have the cooling system set up now, there's an oil cooler and there's also an intake manifold cooler. The way we plumbed in the oil cooler and the intake manifold cooler was by going from the water pump through the engine to the heater to the oil cooler, then to the air intake manifold, then to the radiator to get cooled off. My suspicion is that the coolant is trying to cool down too many accessories before it hits the radiator. So we're going to put a couple of T's in line to take some of the burden off of the coolant going to the engine. What we're going to do today is modify this T to go on the radiator output, which will then pipe in to the bottom of the intake manifold. And then it'll go from the intake manifold over to a T that's on the radiator input line. We're just going to cut this T right about here. Hey, man. In order to make this T fit in the radiator output line, we're going to have to cut the hose and cut the hose again and then clamp it onto this T and then run our line over to the intake manifold. So now we're going to fire this thing up and see if this has fixed the issue. Also, we have topped off the coolant from episode 5. Well, we've been running this thing for a while and it's almost up to temperature. We don't have any leaks yet, which is good. Well, we've been on the road for about 20 minutes now and the temperature gauge is still low. So I think we've just about solved our problem. We'll find out tomorrow when we take it into town for the Toyota swap meet.